And we're back. All right, and we're even recording as we're supposed to be. Hour 2 of Thieves Cant. Crime Time Television. Yeah, that's right. All right, so you've made it in, which again shouldn't normally be a terribly impressive feat. But it has eluded you. It has not eluded. It has informed you of all of these, all this possibility for bad weather on your part, and that there's the red sashes are trying to like shake down some merchants that maybe they shouldn't be. The blue coats are covering something up in a warehouse, and this guy Derek, who maybe some of you know who he's affiliated with, maybe not, is got some plans, some not so friendly plans for that Leviathan hunter, and you could either aid him or interfere with him, or you could certainly do other things. But those are kind of like the bits that you gleaned as you recoup. Like, man, we just came here to do day work, and there's like all this stuff going on.
There's all the opportunities.
Yeah, it's basically everyone else around you is already doing a score, and you have this opportunity to like sabotage one of them or take one over or mess one up or something like that. Like there's all these scores happening just in the normal day-to-day activity.
Cool. Can we discuss it a little internally as to what we should do?
Sure. But I'd like to point out that like there's so many people around that you might need to obfuscate the language that you use. You might need to speak in a dialect that not everyone's going to pick up on what you're doing.
What type of work are we doing?
I think because you're just day laborers, you get the cruddiest of the work, which is hauling cargo on and off of merchant ships. So there's a sailing vessel. Oh man, I'm terrible at ship names. The sailing vessel where we see you walking on just as the edge of the name that's inscribed is like just outside of camera view.
This is a mighty good ship, mighty good unnamed ship we're hauling undisclosed cargo from.
Yeah.
And there's a long gangplank that like wobbles under the weight of all these people, and you go up there with these. It's like a stretcher kind of thing where it's like you're holding 2 poles and there's a width of fabric, and you set a bunch of stuff down on top of it, and then at least 2 people, sometimes 4 people, sometimes 6 people, grab the ends of the poles and carry them back down, and you know that's the kind of work you're doing, and it's expected that you're staying active, but you certainly have everybody's talking about what they did last night and your sister and did this, and you know there's tons of gabbing going on that you could use to blend in what you're speaking and or to listen in on other people if you want.
Nice. So I can totally see us just like at some point finally being able to haul like maybe 3 of the 4 people on the like hauler stretcher thing is us, right? And that might be a good chance for us to have our little conversation about what we're planning on doing.
Sure.
So
if I can add a little bit of hilarity to it.
Is it Derek? Is he the other person?
Yeah, sure. But one of you is separate from the other 2 because it's like 2 on the front and 2 on the back. So there's a little bit of like shouting over this cargo that has to happen. Who do you think is in the back with Derek? Maybe Usa, because he is talking to her.
Can be there.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Sure.
So anyway, so Derek will be grumbling about bloody frickin' Empire, bloody Leviathan hunters, sons of bitches, whatever. He's grumbling to himself. You can pull him into the conversation if you want, but just know that he's sort of like. And also, Uzi, you don't have to like lift a finger. He could totally be carrying this by himself. This guy is massive. Like you're like you can just be holding the bowls and doing nothing if you want.
Yeah.
that was what's
happening. Pretty much.
Nice.
That suits her just fine.
Awesome.
And yeah, I think she'll be calling over to Aiz, saying, looked a little touch and go out there. You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm doing well. There are some very clean red coats outside that I wasn't expecting to see.
Yeah. Yeah, they looked real nice. I wonder where they got them. How they could afford them.
I also don't know. But clearly there's money going around for cleaning in these areas. Enough to make one well prepared if bad weather were to ever strike.
Your Vaughn say, bad weather, bad weather.
Bad weather indeed.
Sorry, I'm like losing my voice and coughing over here. I keep having to mute myself. So I think as like we're all trying to figure out like how can we have this conversation with Dareth there, and Dareth's just like now doing everybody's work.
Technically, he can really only, mechanically speaking, he can really only carry one end of it. But yes, I do think like you guys slow down enough that Dareth like gives you a shove. Like, come on, like I don't want to be here all day. But again, because you're speaking in this Cant, he's just like, the weather's fine. What are you talking about? It's always shitty on the dock. Right? Like, he is not picking up on this yet.
And so I think Aiz might turn to Vaughn and say, and boy, have you been drinking water as you come to work on the docks?
Water.
There's a lot of people with very clean red coats. I'm sure the sight makes you thirsty.
Does make me thirsty. Man.
Yeah, I could use a brew too.
You should drink more water. I think Usa and I might be very well sated.
Aha, yeah, my coat has been salty lately. So
Just quizzical look back at Usa.
We're speaking in code. So kind of look over and say, did you want to go see what they're up to? I mean, they could be carrying a lot of chains, heavy ones. Maybe they don't need them all.
I think there are people with a lot of chains and people who would do best parted with those chains for everyone's interest.
sounds like bad weather's coming up.
Cool, sounds good.
Nice. Awesome. So for the viewers at home who are like, what are they talking about? That language that they're using is so
although somehow our code ended up being that we would steal a bunch of chains. It's like, whatever. We will
No, we're gonna steal their steal their monies.
yeah.
Yeah, their monies.
All right.
We're gonna go steal their extortion money.
So so when you're as you're carrying it, you can definitely see as you're walking down from the ship, because the ship is above the docks and you're walking down the game, like it affords you this very good view of the whole dock area and just like so much activity. And now that the day workers have all been hired, there's less of a jam and there's more just like people pressing past each other all the time. And there's sailors and dockers and urchins and bluecoats and merchants and peddlers and shopkeepers and just like every manner of person is this mass is writhing around. And if you want to, you can certainly like try and spot Zora or one of the other the red sashes, and figure out a little bit more about what their gambit is. So yeah, I think you've got an idea for a score. Let's have you let's see where that score starts with maybe one of you finding out a little bit more information about what they're doing. Sound
All
good?
right. Mm-hmm.
I'm not a good gatherer of information, but
This is a great game where you can get information any way you like. You're like, I gather
Yeah.
information by pummeling it out of a fool. Gather information with my skirmishing fists.
Mhm.
So anybody can be good at it. It just depends on the tactic you want to take. Yeah. So when you do get, like, let's say a break at some point, what are you gonna do?
do you got something, Musa?
She's not. I don't have any.
Because I will totally cut a guy for more information
Missed
here.
you cutting a guy. I guess Vond is great at surveying traveling.
Mhm.
Well, surveying is a great way. I mean, surveying the situation is a really is a real smart way to do it. It's a real safe way to do it too. I mean, pummeling a guy might imply some risk. Just checking out the area, I'd say that's pretty controlled.
Sure. I think then Vond basically tells Aiz and Usa that we're gonna go make this bad weather happen, but let me get some intel first. And then kind of manages to like sidle his way up to where the red sash action seems to be.
Yeah.
Just to take it in.
Nice.
Try to catch one of them with their collar up and
Yeah.
see what's going on.
Exactly.
So what you see is that there is a smoke screen that this throng of people provide that allows just layer upon layer of vice and crime. So there's people like there's people turning around back corners and snorting this thing that like explodes, this like blue electroplasm flare in their faces for a moment. And they kind of like they shake it off and they go back to work. There's street urchins like picking pockets. There's extortion rackets happening at all levels, and so like and it's all intertwined and commingled. And you know that the red sashes are clearly getting in on this in some level, but it's not immediately apparent. So why don't we have you see how well that survey works? And I'm going to give you a little choice here. So you can survey in a controlled position, like just stepping up and kind of walking, looking over everything and trying to spot people. And I'd give you it'd be controlled and you have limited effect, meaning you're just going to kind of get a general sense. Or if you're willing to take a little bit more risk and kind of walk through the crowds and get a little more in people's faces, we can slide that to risky and standard effect, and you can get sort of the full information. And then you can decide to push that even further. You can be like poking people and be like, hey, what's that? And really ask for trouble and make it desperate and have great effect. So you get the whole like
Gotcha.
gambit of choices here if you want.
Awesome. I think I'll go the middle route, and so I will like walk amongst the people, but be like meeting people's eyes in like a steely gazed way to try and like suss out what's actually happening beneath the surface. So I will take.
JPEG TV points out that if you make desperate rolls, you do get XP for them.
Ooh.
I don't know. But, yeah.
It's sweet XP.
I think I'll stick with my
This is
risky
true.
move.
All right.
So,
all right.
Vaughn, you're doing survey?
Yeah.
I could help in a group action.
Awesome.
Cool. Cool.
Kind of be- Sorry.
Am I
Gonna be weaving around behind you.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and you're all around, so it's not
Mhm.
like you can't all work on this together. So yeah, so the way group action works is that one person leads it. It sounds like Vaughn is leading this, and everybody rolls, and you take the best results. But if anybody rolls a failure result, meaning a 1, 2, or 3, like their highest die roll is a 1, 2, or 3, then the leader takes 1 point of stress for each person who failed. So theoretically, if you both fail on this, Vaughn, you'd take 2 stress. But on the flip side, you have a better chance of success because you're both rolling and you take the best result of it. So I'm sure it'll work out great.
It'll be fine. We've been rolling so well.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean,
really roll.
on the second time, we've been rolling so well.
Yeah.
Okay, so rolling survey.
Yeah, it's risky standard.
Okay.
Standard.
I don't have any bonus dice.
And I
No,
have 2.
well, you don't have any you have 2 dice in it, but you don't need to click you don't need to click any bonus dice because it's already factored in.
All right.
But I will offer a devil's bargain, which is you've been walking around with Darrett. If you don't mind him picking up on what you're doing, by virtue of he is a person planning a score of his own, he's savvy to like, he's also not here just to do doc work. So he's savvy in this way. If you're okay with Derek kind of knowing what you're on about, then he won't mind when you like pause at the top of the ship to take a good view out of things, you know, because he knows like, oh, they're planning their score. So if you want Derek in on it, you can get it. You can an extra die.
I'm going to pass on that, I think.
Okay. What about you? What about you, Vaughn?
Vaughn, yeah. I feel like Usa probably had the most interesting relationship with Darrett. So if she's passing, then that probably spells something bad for me. So I will also pass.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
I'm sure that'll be a good decision we won't regret.
Totally not.
All right.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Hey, I got a 5.
Okay. All right. That's already good.
Okay.
Let's see if we can pull a 6. Oh!
Whoa!
Bad weather is coming.
Yeah. It's stormy.
It's stormy
I've
outside.
got X-ray eyes. I see everything.
Gonna make some money.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Sweet.
Awesome.
Okay, this is super cool. So you take no stress because nobody can roll to fail, and you get the best result, which is a crit. All right, so you get standard information. You get great effect, which means I'm going to tell you more than I would normally, and you can ask follow-up questions. Like, so if I'm going to tell you what you see, and then you can dig deeper into it. Okay, so it takes a while to do this. This is like a good part of the day doing this because what you pick up on is that this isn't like a one-stop shop. There's these lanes that people get funneled into. Like to the casual eye, to the layperson, it looks like people just are going to and fro. But to someone who's watching, you see what happens. And this is the general gist of it. Is a merchant ship their quartermaster or somebody from the ship, their captain, their quartermaster will speak with like the harbor master, and then an inspection will happen from bluecoats, and there's a bribe that's paid then. Then they will talk to the dockers, then once the inspection is complete, they'll talk to the dockers. The dockers will unload all their stuff, move all their stuff, and they'll pay the dockers for that. And if they don't want stuff to go missing, there's a bribe that gets paid then as well. Like you can pay to have your stuff carried off, and some of it'll make it and some of it won't. Or you can pay extra and have a reasonable assurance that all of your stuff will get paid. Then you've got to get it out of the docks. And this is where ostensibly you've paid all your fees. What?
But you have to pay another one, right? I think that's what's coming next. There's another bribe.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. So good.
But here's where things get ugly. Everyone expects to pay at least 2 bribes. Like that's just a given. But what happens is you realize that there's like a bunch of different kind of people that all look not affiliated with each other that are hitting people up. They're extorting people, and in some cases, they're getting double tapped on their way out of the docks. It's even possible that they're getting triple tapped, so they're paying a total of 5 bribes.
What?
And the way that happens is that there's a gang called the Crows, and everybody knows that the Crows run Crowsfoot. And they kind of like parcel out extortion rackets, and they get control of them. So they may do some of their own. They may parcel out some to the Lampbacks. They may parcel out some to the Red Sashes. But what's happening is like the Red Sashes are trying to jump in on the Lampblacks action. And so somebody's like paid off a bribe to a Lampblack, and they're like, okay, cool. I'm finally done with all my damn bribes. And then they have to pay the Sashes as well because they get caught up. Or the Sashes try to like intervene and like catch them before they pay out the Lampblacks. So then when they get the Lampblacks are like, hey, where's my money? And they're like, I already paid. And they're like, you didn't pay me shit. You know? So you see these like interactions going on as they're sniping each other's rackets.
Oh, no.
And then every once in a while, a really, really unlucky son of a bitch bumps into a crow and has to pay them, and nobody says shit to the crows. So they're just like, oh, fuck, god damn it. And they got to pay them as well. So if you're really, really unfortunate, you're just paying, you know, at every turn. Yeah. So that's the whole thing. I mean, and again, you can ask follow-up questions, but that's like, you're seeing this happening at different places. And it's for those who are previous bluecoats and are used to the extortion racket, this is normal enough.
It's beautiful.
For newer eyes, this is perhaps for newer eyes, this is for new eyes, this seems ridiculously corrupt. And I'm going to make a point. Dark Lavender Void, yes, they have 2 extra starting dots on their starting characters, and that's because though the characters are starting, the crew is not. So I'm going to go ahead and reveal the gray cloaks again for folks, and you can see, if I can pull it up, and you can see, pat it. That they have dangerous and silver tongues, which each give them an extra dot. Sorry about that. Just wanted to answer that. So,
hearing about this funnel, my first intuition was to like divert the funnel or to become another step in the funnel.
I know.
Brilliant.
there are too many standards. We need one standard to rule them all.
You
The way
just
in their
pay
standard
us
is formed.
bribes.
Where's
Yeah.
my strange devils?
Yeah.
It is absolutely a possibility. I mean, that's what they're all doing, and you can try and you do literally, like, in your mind's eye now, with this crit Vaughn, you literally like see the physical paths, and you're like, oh, that person's walking that way. Yep, they're gonna be paying the Lampblacks. Oh, that person's walking that way. Oh, that's the wrong way to walk. You're gonna be paying double. You know, like you literally see the physical patterns of where people have to pay for, and it all shifts. It's all moving and undulating. So it's not like it's constant. It's this game that they keep playing with each other.
Gotcha. So we can't like identify like the weakest link in this chain because it's just evolving. Meaning, like, I'm imagining.
I think you can. You critted on this. I think you can evolve. You can find the weakest link. You just know that it moves. So tomorrow it'll be different. But like right now in this moment, you can see where maybe there's double coverage on one area and none on another, or really light coverage on one area, because the Lampblacks and the Red Sashes know what each other are doing. They know that they're messing with one another. So they're spotting each other, and they have like runners, like street urchins that are like telling them what's going on. So sometimes they bunch up because they're all trying to get like a real juicy whale of a merchant, you know, and then they like leave some areas open. So yeah, I think you can identify some weak points. Also, it's worth noting that like
so is the plan to steal from the Red Sashes, like kind of cut somewhere up in that line and divert some of that money our way?
In terms of like actually taking the, like, extorting them ourselves rather than letting the red sashes extort them, or like
Yeah.
yeah.
Or just following the red sashes to where they go behind an alley and then we like beat them up and like take their money, right? That's how it works.
Yeah, they gotta be loaded with money.
I
Yeah.
like stealing from the red sashes. That
Mhm.
is better. And then
Who
ramp it up from there.
who doesn't like stealing from the red sashes? Okay, cool.
Especially if Zora's there.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Zora's there. I mean, like she's got to make her chain,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So all right, so let's pick a score type, and then we'll figure out the detail. So if you look on any of your character sheets and you scroll down a little bit, in the middle section under gear, you'll see that there's 6 score types. There's assault, occult, deception, social, stealth, and transport. And so you basically you pick one of those types. It's like this is how. So instead of having a game where you spend forever making a plan, we just pick the general way you're going to do it. You fill in one detail, and then we jump into the action. And if you need to like be like, oh no, we should have done this instead, then you just have flashbacks to do the things you needed to do. So we don't worry about like how you're going to make it work. But there's a difference between like deception, where you like trick people into paying you instead of paying the red sashes, and assault, where you're gonna like beat up a red sash in a corner. So we should know which of those you want to do. So what plan do you want to take?
I
Well suited to assault.
yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, okay. I didn't want to be the one who said we would just cut everyone, but it looks like that's where we're going. So
So you're gonna look for a red sash that's like loaded down, who's just like taking a payment, and
Mhm.
you're gonna find them before they like hand the payment off, and you're gonna beat them up.
Yep.
Got it.
we're
All right.
trying
So
to like lure them out of like view and like not just like beat them up right in the middle of everyone. I guess.
right.
Got
I'm
some
getting.
finesse to it.
I'm
too.
getting that. I'm getting that. So your point of attack, the place that you're going to hit them, is ostensibly. I think instead of saying like you need to find a place, I think we can carry that crit over to where would be a good place to knock them up. I feel like that's
Mhm.
knock them out, not knock them up. Sorry, wrong choice of words. um, uh,
Wow.
that you also so there's a ton of at the edge along the edge of the docks. There's a lot of crates that are like there's all like massive like rows of crates, and they get piled there while they're not in use, and then when they're filled up they get sort of sent off. So there's all these like empty or maybe like being filled but not completed crates that are all like lined up, and you know that like street urchins and homeless people like often live in those space, like they like hide out in them, they sleep in them at night to protection from the rain, and like there are people there, but it's way less traffic. It also smells really bad because it's because there's like a lot of the crates aren't cleaned out very well, and so just like whatever crap that was in them just keeps building up. But it's a nice narrow sort of secluded place where only like Chief Helker up in his top view and maybe some other people with like really good vantages can see down into.
Mhm.
So I will offer you that. You could look for others as well, but I think as part of your crit you see that like, oh, that's nearby. You might have to lure somebody in, but it's pretty close. Would you like to accept that as your point of attack, or do you want to search for something else?
Yeah. Sounds good to me.
Awesome. So now let's pick your load. This is a little bit retroactive because ostensibly you're not like gearing up here on the docks. So you're gonna like pick like how heavy you were strapping before this. So beneath your playbook type, where it says hound or cutter or leech, there's load three for light, 5 for normal, 6 for heavy.
Mhm.
Light means you look like a normal citizen. Normal means you look like a thug, or you look like a criminal who's like going to do crime. Heavy means you're like strapped for war. So what sort of load do you all want to take?
I'm gonna go normal.
Okay. So you look like you came here to do a thing.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. All right.
Doing a thing.
All right.
Eyes is definitely normal too. I
Cool.
think like yeah, you can see the sword under his glove.
Yep. Right.
Stuff like that.
All right. How about you, Vaughn?
I feel like Vaughn actually looks light,
Okay.
if that is considered what normal is, like not immediately.
Light attire means you just look like a regular person.
Yep.
Street urchin with a giant like sword poking out or something.
Amazing. I got a little pointy thing in my pocket, but
Oh yeah. Who doesn't?
Yeah,
who doesn't?
it's Duskfall, baby.
Yeah, you got to protect yourself. All right, cool. So what that means is there's all this gear underneath your load, and you don't pick any of it now, but as you need it, whenever you're like, I got a sword, or I got a pistol, or I've got some rope or a spyglass, or whatever your gear is, you just check the boxes and you have as many as your load indicated. And if you need more than what you had, then we'll do a flashback to where you like planted something there, and you can get it that way. So awesome. The way we determine so is the plan, does this sound right? Is the plan lure Zora because she stands out to you, you know she's Red Sash. Wait for Laura to like get a big payoff, lure her into the crates and pummel her and take her money? Do I have the gist of it?
Yeah, it's about that.
Yeah, I will. We'll
That's the
figure
heart
out the
of it.
details, but yeah, that's
Yeah.
The broad
No,
strokes.
that's broad strokes is all we want. So we're gonna make an engagement roll right now, and the engagement roll basically like states like how smooth this plan is how smoothly it's gonna open. So you get 1 die for being daring scoundrels. Boom. You get 1 die if your plan is particularly bold. The Red Sashes are higher tier than you. The Red Sashes already want to kill. This Red Sash already wants to kill Ais, and you're messing up their major racket. So yes, I'm going to call this bold in all sorts of fronts. You lose a die if your plan is particularly convoluted or has lots of points of failure. I think it's as unconvoluted as you can get. Lure a person down an alley and beat them up and take their stuff. It's pretty darn straightforward.
Just trying to like pummel some other meat and
you also, there's a few other factors. Do you have a contact? Let's see, let me pull up pull it up. This is one of those things that I sometimes feel like I can do off the top of my head, and sometimes feel like I need to look up. Do you have a friend or contact that's providing you aid or insight for this operation? I don't think so. I don't think I'm going to offer it one more time. If you want, Derek can give you aid in this operation.
Derek's not in the gang.
Stop trying to put Derek in the gang. He's not in the gang.
Oh, he's in his own gang. Don't you
Stop
worry.
trying to make Derek happen.
All right. Never mind. Does the plans, do you have an enemy that's involved? You do have an enemy, but they're not protecting the Red Sashes. Needle is here. He is your enemy. He's protecting that warehouse. If you'd gone up to the warehouse, he would definitely be messing with you, but he's not, doesn't care about the Red Sashes. So you're good there. Does the plan expose the vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're the weakest? No, this is what they're doing. I don't think so. Is the target strongest against this approach, or do they have particular defenses or special preparation? They might. I mean, this is kind of a classic thing of like, wait for someone to be loaded down with coin.
They should if they're good at this.
Yeah, and they are. This is their thing. And they've and in fact, the Lamplacks are doing it to them all the time. So yes, I think they have special preparations in the form of other Red Sashes like watching each other. Like there's all these urchins and whatnot that you don't necessarily know who are scouting. They have lots of scouts watching one another. So this could easily turn from one person to a lot of people if you don't do it quickly. So I'm going to say -1D for that. Are there other elements to consider? Not really. So I think you're at 2 dice. 1 for starters, 1 for being bold. No, you're at 1 die. Sorry. Yeah,
Oh,
one die.
Ooh.
Okay.
Let's see it. Would anyone like to roll that? That die. The way you can do it is you can just type /roll 1d6, or if you want to get really fancy, below your friends on the right hand column, there's a button that says roll fortune, and if you click that, you can type in what it's for. You can type in engagement roll, and then you can specify the dice, and it'll roll it.
Fancy.
Vaughn just rolled the 6 and the 6, right?
Yeah. So clearly.
Oh,
And that's so clearly.
no, thank you for reminding me. That crit is going to give you. I gave you all of the info. That info is going to carry forward and help you. Yes, I'm sorry.
Oh, cool.
Thanks for pointing out.
Give
Let's
us
give you
another
another die. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
totally.
Cool. Oh, just because we have like a full view of the scene.
Mhm.
Exactly. Yeah, because one of the questions is, are you hitting them where they're weakest? And you specifically asked me, is there a weak point? Is there a place where they're weaker? And I said, yes. It flows. It changes. You have to adapt, but you know where it is right now. You won't know where it is tomorrow, but you know where it is right now.
Cool.
And
Right here, right now, where we are.
yes.
Mhm.
Or where you're about. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so then it's /roll 2d6.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you got a 5. So you start in a risky
Yay!
situation. All right. All right. So we're gonna open up the score. It's risky. So you're all in there. You've like we see your stretcher with all the goods, and like Derek standing on one end of it, being like, "Hey, hey!" and he's yelling at somebody else. You jerk! Pick that up. Help me carry this. Like you've ditched him, and he's like yelling at other dockers to get to work to help him out. And then we cut across the docks through the swath of people, and we cut to the crates. It stinks, and there are people in there, and there's they as soon as you go in, they pull into their corners. They don't want any trouble. The people that are hiding here are either snorting spark, this weird drug, or they're homeless, or they're doing their own deals. So they're all slink into the shadows. And who is gonna go try to lure Zora into who's gonna try and like get her to come in, because she's not gonna like walk in on her own.
I feel like Ais, you're the one who
Yeah.
I could totally
has some history here.
Yeah. All right.
say
Sounds
we're
good.
gonna do this
Awesome.
now.
Awesome. So you see her. She's working her deal on some merchant. She like opens up her coat. He sees it, her blade. He's like, oh, I don't want any trouble, right? And she's doing her thing, and then right out of the corner of your eye, you catch this blue coat walking past you, and he looks at you, and he looks away, and then he looks back. He like does the double take.
Shit.
Oh
no.
I think it's Needle, because
Because of course it is.
Because of course it is. And so you're in a risky situation. First off, Needle is, maybe I need you. And second off, she could slip away, right? She could get the money and run. So you see him, like, he kind of like looks over. He's looking to see if he has any, he's looking around him. He's kind of surveying really quickly to see like who else is around. And then he starts making, and then you can tell he's like starting to make a beeline towards you. What are you going to do? Or not a beeline. He's walking in your direction. Maybe directly to you. Maybe just, maybe not.
Maybe.
He's not running or anything like that. He's just coming.
Let me see. How do I pursue my goal of actually luring Zora away while dealing with the fact that Needle is coming straight at me?
Well, you have other. I mean, you were planning on luring Zora, but the others are right behind you. It's not like.
Yeah,
It's not like it's. Everyone can respond to this. I'm just pointing out that you're the one who's like standing out there. You could certainly like whisper, "Hey,
Yeah.
blue on the way."
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I would love to interact with Zora and try to get that duel to happen.
Sure. Oh, that sounds like a grand plan.
But yeah, but it would just have to happen real fast.
It probably couldn't happen before Needle walked over to you, but it could happen here and now, presumably, if you can get Needle out of the way,
Yeah,
or
we
if he doesn't
get-
care. Yeah.
Can anyone help me get Needle out of the way?
Sure.
I mean, I'd point out that Needle really doesn't like Vaughn.
It's true. And so if anything, I wonder if I'm going to complicate the situation by getting involved, which is clearly what we want. Yes.
I mean, you got strange devils, Vaughn. You know,
Yeah.
they're all around.
Yeah, Vaughn, what if you kind of did like reverse hunting? Like Needle just saw Ease and kind of looked one way, and if you just started walking the other way
Oh, that's beautiful.
and get Needle to follow you instead.
Yeah,
You could snake
I mean, if you're just conspicuous and like catch his eye, like he'll just follow you. I mean, like the action you're gonna have to take is really gonna be what you do when he catches up with you, or if you ditch him. But like just getting Needle to get your attention is, he'll recognize you.
Yep.
He's kicked your ass out of the docks already. He's ready. He's happy to do it again with more force this time.
Oh.
So is that what you're gonna do?
That is precisely what I do.
Nice.
Yes. So I am. I think I kind of share a kind of disgusted glance with Usa, and then kind of get out of our hiding place and start walking and kind of beeline past Ice, and maybe kind of splay my collar a little bit at.
Oh, you're like actively gonna goad him.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna peacock it a little bit.
Nice.
Like, almost. You just.
Well, but it's also a reference, right? Like I got my collar up.
Exactly. And then Vaughn, I think like Vaughn is tall and like gawky anyway, so
Yeah.
just starts kind of like maneuvering kind of slowly, methodically through the crowd and glances.
Cool. So Needle is totally sees this, and he's just like he had this various interest in IEs, like, what are you fucking doing here, right? And then he sees Vaughn, and he's just like, oh, all right. And again, you see him look over his shoulder, like he's kind of checking to see what his backup situation looks like. This. You don't know whether he's looking for reinforcements or if he's looking to see if he's going to get in trouble for murdering a fool. Like he kind of. Probably the latter, honestly, with Needle. He doesn't usually need a lot of help to do his beatings. So he's going to come after you. Let's see what you do in response to that in a second. I think we can definitely say you've lured him away for sure. So now we can cut back to Zora, who
shaking down the merchant.
Yeah, Zora, who the merchant like finally shrugs his shoulders, and he it's like now he's to the point of like haggling, like, okay, you're gonna rob me, but how much are you gonna rob me?
Yeah. And so Aiz, I think, walks up while this is happening and is just like, just go, like, and then looks up to Zora and is like, how many you, and in the Eruvian tongue is
In Hadrathi, yeah, awesome.
Yeah, in Hydrathi, just like, is this what you do? You just hit up these people without anything to their name. You dishonor everything that we come from, and you're no better than like the lands of this dreaded shore that we're on right now.
Oh, cutting deep.
Ah.
All right. So I think depending on how well you do here, this merchant.
Oh, sorry. Sorry to interrupt, but just to clarify my intent, I want to insult her honor so as to make this duel happen.
Oh, I'm picking that up. That was not unclear. So this merchant is like, oh, And you can tell he wants to do the same thing as the last one, but this guy's been more cowed to the point where he feels like if he just runs now, she might like send goons after him. So he's kind of like, I'm just gonna step back and see what happens here. And he's like, Captain Dava, will just wait. And he's obviously not the captain. He's like referencing the person he's representing. He's like, I'm sure we can sort this out. You know, he just looks really like, oh shit, I don't want to get involved. And so he tries to like shrink and disappear, but she turns on you and she's like, well, actually, let's have you roll and let's see what her reaction is. What action are you taking? It sounds like it's command. I don't know. Maybe it's sway. You tell me.
I think. Let's see. What am I doing? I'm insulting her honor. I'm telling her that what she's doing.
Command.
Yeah, I could see either way, but I think command fits.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's do that.
I would point out, if you want to just really get this ugly, you have an ability called Savage.
I do, by the way. I do have to get this ugly.
Yeah.
But Savage first involves me having unleashed physical violence, right?
Yeah. I mean, if you want to like smack her like across the face, like I'm initiating a duel sort of thing. If you want to like basically be like, no, I'm ready to get violent right now, and it's not like going to hurt her. It's not going to cause harm. But if you want to like unleash a little preemptive violence, then you could do that.
I would like to do that.
Okay.
I think instead of slapping her, it's just going to be like I think I'm just going to try to like push her down, just on the shoulder and try to like not drop her feet to like really embarrass her in front of this merchant and the rest of the red sashes. All right.
And not to put you on the spot or anything like that, but what about the way you handle yourself is particularly scary? Like, why is it you're a lot stronger than you appear, or is it just that you're like willing to get really up close and personal? Or?
I think like savagery and physical violence just comes very quickly to Aiz, and he's particularly like fiery and stormy and unstable, and so it's that like it's the quickness with which it's unleashed is the thing that drives it.
Yeah,
does that sound appropriate?
I think that's super appropriate. It's a fiery temper. You're quick to anger, faster than she expected you to escalate. Like she was initially like challenging you, like we'll do this right, and you're just like, let's do it now. And catching her off guard. Okay, cool. That's scary. I like it.
And we're still risky, I assume.
Or
are we in control?
I think it's risky.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. It feels risky to me.
Sounds fair.
I mean, it's not risky by virtue of anything other than what you're doing sounds risky.
Standard per effect.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
because all you're trying to do right now is get her to agree to violence with you.
Yeah, to accept the duel.
And normally she's higher tier than you. Normally, like you would have a limited effect on her if you like, say, for instance, go to stab her. She's better trained, has better equipment, all that jazz. But in this case, you're kind of hitting her where she's actually. I'm going to take that back. I think her tier doesn't affect it, and you have potency on her because she already wants to kill you. So I think your effect is actually great. I think she's not just ready to be like, cool, let's duel. She's ready to say, let's duel right now, like in your face.
Yeah, she already wanted to do this.
Yeah, she did. So yeah, I think you're a great effect.
Risky, great. And so one bonus for Savage.
Yep.
And is that my only bonus?
We can offer you a Devil's Bargain, or Vaughn is busy, but Usa could also assist if you wanted to. The Devil's Bargain that I have is that people will be like, fight, and and a crowd of just randos that may or may not eventually include people you don't want to have see you, but just at the moment it's just like rando people like see this and they're like, yeah, because if you shove her and she stumbles back, like people are immediately like, oh yeah, cool, awesome, killing, it's great. And so if you make this scene and you're okay with like other people goading her and pushing her like, yeah, go kill him, awesome, then yeah, that's, you can totally have an extra die for that.
Well, we don't want to like the whole point is to do this out of prying eye.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had a thought. I don't know mechanically if it can roll into this, but as a leech, I have the opportunity, the option of having a bandolier of alchemicals, and I know that somewhere in the alchemical list there is a smoke bomb, which would be helpful in giving some cover to this altercation so people don't see it and start yelling, fight, fight, fight.
Yeah.
So I would perhaps like to drop one of those when appropriate.
It's timely.
Yeah, no, that sounds to work to my
Oh, no.
connection dropped for a moment, and so I just need un momento. Oh, it's back. Okay, cool. There we go. All right. Many
Yay.
apologies all. My connection, I have a remote connection set up and it dropped, and yeah, fun times. Yay for internets. Okay. Yeah, so what we were talking about, apologize that we lost for a second, is that USA is planning to drop a smoke bomb to cover their path when once Aiz lures Zora into the fight. So you could take that devil's bargain if you want. It sounds like you could take that problem and then have Usa sort of handle it for you.
That sounds perfect.
Okay. So yeah, she gets pushed back, and maybe she was like gonna fight you, or maybe she's not. But now there's like a bunch of people all random, just be like, yeah, what's that?
Yeah,
you
I was egging them on a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna do this. Like, this is gonna happen. You've seen an Aruvian duel? They're great.
Nice. People are gonna love it. Cool. All right. So you get a bonus die for the Devil's Bargain. You get a bonus die for being savage.
Right.
It's risky, great effect. Let's see them.
All right, we got the 6.
Nice. She's like, she looks at you. She said, "I said the next time I saw you, I was gonna cut off your head. You're a damn." She knows you at this point now. You're a damn fool, Aiz. The bells are going to be tolling soon, and she's. I mean, you don't know if this is bluster or not. Maybe she's just like talking big because she's scared. Because you did startle her for sure. You're savage, and when you use violence, it scared her. But she she but so she may be overcompensating, but she's talking like, I'm gonna kill you right now, which is kind of a big deal in Duskfall, because when somebody dies, then the bells ring and spirit wardens come for them to cremate the body, so ghost doesn't rise. Like, it's maybe she's just talking trash. Anywho, so she is like gonna brandish her sword, and people are starting like to clear out of the way. So I assume that you're going to back out. How are you going to get her into the space where you want to jump her and kill her, or jump her and take her stuff?
I think it's going to be, I says, we'll do this in the formal Eruvian way. We'll do
in a back alley.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Single combat away from the eyes of these foreign fools.
All right. Yeah. So she's just like, don't lead me on, Ais. And it's a little bit innuendo, like she's like, don't tease me, but she's talking about murder, not anything else. So you know that. So this is really just like questions of honor and things like that. When you like take her back there, do you lead her? Do you like walk her back into the
I just is like, all right, we're gonna do this. We do this in single combat. He just starts walking.
Okay, cool. So you turn your back on her. Okay, cool.
Brilliant.
This is gonna happen.
It's gonna be great.
No, I mean you hit it, right? You didn't get a complication or anything like that. I mean, other than that she wants to kill you, but that's okay. That's the thing you wanted.
Intended result.
So so Usa, you see her like unbuckle her scabbard, but she doesn't like. That's as far as it goes. Like she doesn't like pull her blade out or whatnot. Meanwhile, let us cut across. So Needle is just like pushing people out of the way. He's just like, get out of the way, get out of the way, get out of the way. And if anyone messes with him, he like stares them down and whatnot. So he's making his way towards you. Whereas he was kind of keeping his cool when he was walking towards Ais, he is not being he's not being subtle at all towards you, Vaughn. What are you gonna do?
I think at this point I'm still just kind of weaving through the crowd, kind of being like passing a dock worker, passing a merchant, going in and out of sight, like trying to kind of strategically dash from one point to another while still luring Needle away from Ais and our score.
Yeah. Cool. What action do you want to take?
I would love to. Go ahead.
I mean, it could be prowl, or it could kind of almost be like hunt.
Yeah, I'd love to take something like hunt, or really kind of like, I don't know, embrace the hound in Vaughn.
Embrace the hounds.
Oh man, yeah. I just like one thing that is not going to happen is that Vaughn does not want to get like the shit kicked out of him again. The last time was really bad, and like that was sort of the final point, like the catalyst to join the Grey Cloaks, and it's just not going to happen this time. So I imagine that Bond is armed. I'm kind of part of me just wants to just come to blows with Needle right now. I
mean, you can just say I do nothing, and that can happen, right? Like you don't need to make any dangerous action to come to blows. Like he'll just come after you. So if you want, but if you want to pick if instead of trying to ditch him, what you want to do is pick a spot where you can like ambush him and like turn on a corner, and then when he comes around the corner, you like stick him. yeah, I mean, I think
I'm
you could do
thinking that
that.
that's exactly what we want to do. So like there's dashing and weaving out of places, and like given the vantage point that I had before, that hopefully there's some other kind of quiet
Cool.
spot behind the merchant or something where
Cool. So I think what you're going to kind of do is you're going to do like a prowl action to set yourself up, and then maybe a hunt to like stick him right when he comes around a corner or something like that. Because it's kind of two different things. One is, do you get out of his field of vision because right now he sees you, and the other is, do you then turn that around and hurt him?
jump in.
If he wasn't higher tier than you, like you're tier 1, he's tier 3, I would say like, oh, you can probably pull this all off in one go. Like you can just make a prowl roll to see if you do this. But he's definitely like after you, and you don't really have anybody helping you. You're pulling this all off on your own. So let's does that sound
Cool.
good?
Sounds great.
All right.
So roll and prowl.
Yeah, risky prowl. It's
Mhm.
definitely risky. You're not quite a desperate at this point, but
Standard effect.
yeah, say standard. It doesn't really matter because it's a setup action, but
Gotcha.
standard is fine. And
Great.
yeah, I don't know that I have any doubles bargains. All right. So you do it, but there is a consequence. You suffer harm, or I mean, I have the perfect scenario. I have the perfect answer, which is one of the choices is you're in a desperate situation. So you do it only barely. Like you cut around a corner. There is there's like a sweetmeats vendor, and he's got a little like shop set up, and he's got a grill going, and you basically just cut around, and so you have like he's got a portable stove that he rolls out to like grill the meats on, and
Sweet meats aren't meat. I'm going to be that. Well, actually,
no. Yeah. Well, actually, me. No, so not sweet meat. So a meat
food
vendor, a food vendor, a person cooking meats to sell to
Got
people
it.
to eat. Sorry, thank you.
Yeah.
No, I mean we're playing a game about language, right? So yeah. Needle has been drinking water. He is onto you,
Sure.
and you're weaving and whatnot, and he is like a hound. He's just like. It's terrible. He's stealing your nameplate here, and so you essentially just all you have is the mask of the little tent pole for his awning, and like the smoke that's obfuscating it. So it's like just a split second where he doesn't have a view of you, where you can go after him. You can resist that and find a little bit safer place if you want. You can say no, I resist that, but otherwise I'm putting you in a desperate situation when you go for your attack.
Gotcha. What I immediately gravitated towards is like kind of using the resources of this poor meat seller to my advantage by kind of burning or like shoving the grill at Needle to kind of drive a bit more space between us and lure him.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah. So it sounds like you're going to resist with prowess then of trying to
see what. Yes.
shove some cooking meat and maybe some coals even okay, cool. So go ahead and click on prowess.
Mm-hmm.
And then no bonus dice unless, yeah. Cool. So you take 6 minus your highest roll. So you take 1 stress
Nice.
from doing this. And so you get the distance you need. He's like, he looks outraged, and the street vendor is confused and scared because there's a blue coat in his face, and he just like pushes the guy out of the way. But that interaction that he has to have with the street vendor to like tell him to piss off buys you the time to get like some proper cover, and then when he looks up, there's that moment where he's like the camera switches point of view to being from behind him instead of looking at him, and he looks up and he's like, where'd he go? And then like we just see like the flap of your cloak or some little telltale. He's like, there. and starts heading. I think starts heading into the dock house where a lot of the gondolas are docked, and that's where you're ready for him.
Cool.
So I think we're gonna have various scenes of stabbing. I like that this is a very stabby plan.
Crescendo of stabbing.
Let's cut back to you, Usa, and
Mhm.
all these people want to see this fight. Luckily for Aiz, Zora did not decide to just like stick him in the back, although the idea she did think about it. But all these people are going to follow, and so I think you were going to try and dissuade them from that.
Yeah, I was gonna drop a smoke bomb
Nice.
from my bandolier of alchemicals. I don't have smoke bomb stats in front of me though, but I know that they're there.
If you look on your alchemicals,
I don't
There-
know.
are they
Oh,
not?
there it
Oh,
is.
they're not listed there. Yeah, you're right.
Oh wait, they are. Haha. Bandolier. Use a bandolier slot.
Yeah, go ahead and check off the bandolier.
Smoke bomb. All right, but it doesn't say what the smoke bomb does.
I can pull it up real quick. No problem. I think it does what we think it does, but
Yeah, it makes smoke.
creates a cloud of acrid smoke that's difficult to breathe and stings the eyes.
Yep, and that'll make them disperse.
Yep. I like all of that.
Mhm.
Okay, so why don't you go ahead and oh, I did not mean to switch views. Switch back. There we go. Yeah. What action are you gonna take to use that smoke bomb?
Probably a prowl just to drop it
Mm-hmm.
without
seems
being
right.
noticed.
Yeah.
And I want to kind of be on the other side of the cloud so that I can follow Aiz and be back up.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I think. Are you like up on top of a crate or something like that? Do you have like a vantage here to do it? Because you've had time to kind of get wherever you want while they're doing this other stuff.
Yeah, I was kind of up.
Cool.
Try
So
not
let's
to-
call this
Mhm.
controlled standard effect.
Okay.
And if you want to like dump like 2 bombs, you could make it risky great effect by like not only making it so people won't come back, but actually like buying you some more space. Like people like, oh, something's on fire, and they like all back away from it.
Yeah,
Like,
why not
You
throw
could make
2?
it. Okay, cool.
All right. So you said risky, great effect.
Risky, great effect. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, they'll be
All
like, "Oh crap, there's something like wrong," and nobody wants to get on fire. They don't.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of hand waving.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to maybe get a bonus die somehow. I might just. I think I'm gonna push myself because I have to kind of be very close to this when it goes off,
Mm-hmm.
and then get out of the way and also make sure I'm on the kind of other side of it. So I think I'm going to push myself to get an extra die just because it's I'm going to have to hold my breath and run a bit.
Yep. Brylots pointed out to me, don't forget the drawback of bombs that they are conspicuous and generate +1 heat. But that also makes me think they are conspicuous and generate +1 heat, which means that sort of additional effect I should give you automatically. So I'm going to dial that back to controlled, because that's sort of implicit. You could just create a distraction without using a bomb. You're using it, so I think you're controlled great.
Controlled great. Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, go ahead and push yourself for that extra die. That sounds good.
This
Aiz,
is totally gonna work.
Aiz, do you want to help by like moving quickly so that you can synchronize with Usa?
Let's see. By moving quickly, like
Yeah,
just,
like if you spend a stress to assist Usa by like trying like synchronizing with her, so like you give her the eye and then you like scuttle back and Zora has to chase after you for a second, then it's gonna give more leeway for Usa.
I will totally do that.
Okay.
Yay.
Cool. So you have 2 bonus dice.
Hooray.
Really?
and Ais takes the stress.
Taken.
And he was just like, "Get back here, you coward!"
Yay!
Yay!
Fire.
And then everyone's like, "Fire!"
And I
mean-
spent 2 to push myself. So
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. Too stressed for pushing
Marked.
yourself. Nice. So, so when you turn on her, she's like, when you turn, she's like, "Get back here." She draws her sword because she thinks you're running away from her. So she's like,
Mhm.
"I'm gonna kill him, right? I'm gonna get after him." And there's this big plume of smoke, and people are coughing and hacking, and they were all coming after you, and now most of them have just backed off. Some of them are like lost and confused in the smoke.
Mhm.
Like one might stagger out your way on accident, but at the moment nobody's close. Everyone's trying to get out of it. And she holds her sword out at you,
Mhm.
and then she's looking at you, and she's like, she's sizing you up about she's sizing you up. What do you do when she draws her sword and sort of like holds it at you? Do you have a weapon out right now yourself?
Oh yeah, like how I kind of envisioned it was like the very end, like Eyes probably went around a corner or something like that because we
Mhm.
want to get out of sight.
Yeah, you were definitely out of sight at this point, like by a lot.
The like when she comes around the corner and she has her sword drawn, like he's standing maybe like 10 feet on the other side, right? He's not like trying to jump her on the other side,
Mhm.
but he's already there, sword drawn, and like he is ready to take this to the natural bloody
Nice.
conclusion.
Cool. So she's you were trained to fight in Aruvia?
Yes,
Okay.
but like being a particularly savage and ruthless individual, I think he's doesn't only adhere to Deruvian fighting
Nice.
standards.
So she like her arm, like as she holds the sword, her arm kind of like twists and turns, and you see her like unravel this long red scarf, this long red weighted scarf, and she like holds it like up above her head, like ready to like fling it at you. So she's like got her sword, and she's practicing what you recognize as the falling star style of the Aruvian sword arts. And we'll see how well you do at that. But first, I gotta know how Needle is gonna fare. Is this gonna be the end of Needle?
Row. We'll see.
Yeah. So you got into the dockhouse. He's come around. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
He is not ready for you for a moment. Like he's not expecting you right around the corner, but he's definitely looking for you still.
Gotcha. I think I'm gonna do the old like we're in their actual like boats or gondolas here. Is that right? In the dock?
Yeah. I think that there's like this is where like some boats pull up and they can get stored here. There's like hay. There's all this hay on the ground that comes like as part of packing material. And there's like busted up crates and stuff in here. There's not a lot of activity going on right now because this is where things kind of get stored at night. So it's dark. There's a little bit of light shining through the rafters. There may be some people in here, but you don't see anybody immediately.
Gotcha. Yeah. I'd imagine that this too is a place that I've probably worked in before.
Sure.
As a dock worker, I'm familiar with it in a different way than some blue coat would be, especially Needle. And I hide behind a gondola and maybe some rigging that is by the door, and that I would hope to get behind Needle before he realizes what exactly is happening. So kind of block the entrance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you can do that. Absolutely.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. I think that could be your setup, like that you're, yeah.
Yeah.
And when he passes by you, you've got like all these you got all these like these big heavy pulleys with hooks on them that like, you know, they hook up to things and then they use them for moving stuff around. And there's all this thick rope, all this thick salt water encrusted stiff rope, and he kind of, you know, you're tall and lanky, and so you kind of like your profile fits nicely into that space, and he walks past you. And what do you do when he goes past?
Yeah. So in terms of what is available to me, am I allowed to just kind of pick and choose from the items that could potentially be?
Yeah. So you have a load of, I think your load was light, so you get like 3 boxes of stuff.
Gotcha.
Anything you want. I mean, unless it's just like how would you have a boat? I don't think that's not an inventory item or anything like that. But
Right,
yeah,
right. Right. Yeah. Okay. I'm drawn to both like the sort of the sharpshooter aspect of the hound. And I can imagine that just from a handy pistol, though we've talked about something pointy in my pocket for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that like this is just like run and sorry. I think I just basically just run and ambush him as much as I can.
Sure.
From behind.
Yeah. What do you want to stab him with this little knife that we've been talking about?
Yes.
Awesome. Cool. Needle's a tough, scary, gnarly, been in a lot of fights. You've been in a lot of fights too. He's got good equipment. He's well furnished by the Bluecoats. They've been paid well by Strangford. You know, his blue coat is reinforced. So your default position here is you're a risky position. You didn't go to desperate because you resisted that. Your risky position. You can hunt him. It's totally legit. Your effect, however, is limited. It would be nothing at all if you just fight him on the street one-on-one. You're tier 1, he's tier 3. He's just better trained, better equipped, better prepared, and you would have to push yourself to get any effect at all. But because you're catching him off guard, you have potency. He's not ready for you. Also, you did a setup action. I might be double dipping in the setup action, but I'm okay with that. You did a setup action, so you can choose to either make this attack controlled and stay with it limited, or you can keep it at risky and bump it up to standard effect, where you're gonna like harm him. At limited, you'll surprise him, you'll scare him, you'll maybe disarm him. You won't really harm him. With standard, you'll actually like inflict a wound. You won't kill him, but you'll hurt him.
Is it just based on my intent?
Yeah. So if you really go for it, you keep it risky and make it standard. If you're being a little more tentative and you just want to push them around and scare them, and you're okay with like a knife wound that's just a graze, it's not really going to harm him, then you can sort of stay back and not be as risky as not be in a risky situation and stay controlled. So
Gotcha. Yeah, let's push it. I think that I just kind of go for an ambush and try and get him up against what is gondola there, or like some amount of rigging, and go for a weak spot. Like aim for his gut.
Cool. Sounds good. Yeah. All right. Awesome. Why don't you go ahead and roll? So you're rolling risky, standard effect.
That's with hunt, right?
Yeah, I think you're hunting him. You're waiting. You're taking the precise strike. It'll probably be skirmish soon, but I think right now it's hunt.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
It didn't go so well. All right. So you stab into him, and your knife, like I said, he's got this reinforced blue coat. Like it's all heavy. You stick into it, and it like goes into it, and he turns because I think he hears like your foot scratch on the stone behind you. He turns and he like backhands you and smacks you over, and you fall into the gondola that's next to it, and your knife goes clattering into the water. You can
Your
resist.
favorite knife.
Yeah, you can resist that if you'd
Knifing.
like. You can roll prowess to resist dropping your knife, or even the falling into the gondola as well. You can resist all of that, or you can be somewhat exposed and try another solution. I mean, you very well might have a gun. You could draw a pull on him. So it's not to say that you don't have anything else, but I think your blade or two is going to fall out.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. I think that the only other thing that Vaughn would be carrying would be a small gun. And at this point, like just trying to just being too damn embarrassed and to see like Needle's fist once more. I'm gonna pull it. And
Yeah. Well,
I feel like that probably like I've worked for Strangford before and I've had to rough people up with this kind of thing before. So I'd imagine I've had some training with and experience with this pistol.
well, you're a hound. You not only have a pistol, if you want, you have a fine pair of pistols.
Oh, do I? Then I certainly will be using both.
Yeah. I'm checking off your things as you're using them. Awesome. So you pull your guns like it's for realsies now. And he's I think you have a moment before he's on top of you, and then it's gonna be an ugly fight on the boat. But back to the sword duel. We're running late, so I think I'm gonna try and elide this a little bit. I would love to keep going, but I know that it's late for all of us. So, well, let me do a little check-in. Are folks wanting to wrap this up quickly, or do we want to play out the actions piece by piece? I feel like we're kind of close to end.
I have a cold. I'm gonna use that as an excuse for needing to go to bed early. Not that I'm normally already in bed by now. because
Yeah.
I'm old.
I'm completely fine with doing an accelerated.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna make one roll for each scenario, for each case, which is like, how does the fight with Zora go, and how does the
who lives and dies?
Right.
Zora.
And then we're gonna do one for now. Normally we would sort of play out each action, but I think to elide that, we're gonna find out. So
I think you and Usa should just have a group skirmish action of stabbing the shit out of Zora, because that's kind of what Usa was following for, like just in case you needed some additional stabbing.
That sounds perfect.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Why don't you make a group action skirmish?
Sweet.
She's really good with a sword, so
I bet
it's gonna be desperate. Since you haven't done anything
There's two of us.
Yeah, you're right. There's two of you. Let's call it risky.
Okay.
It's risky.
Okay.
And effect, you can go ahead and say standard, but in truth, you have limited effect on her because she's higher tier than you. She's really well trained, but because there's two of you, and because we're kind of just carrying this as one role, we're going to go ahead and just leave it at standard. And effect is actually going to be determined based on your die roll. So if you roll,
Okay.
Should I mark off that I have if I have a fine heavy weapon at this point?
Yeah. Well, a fine heavy weapon is actually really going to help you because a fine weapon counts like a higher tier. So she's tier 2, you're tier 1, but when you have a fine weapon, it's like you're tier 2. So that actually evens the score a little bit. So yeah, let's keep it at risky, but it's going to mean the amount of harm you can actually cause her is more significant.
Cool.
So
I'm still rolling standard, right?
Yeah, I think you're both going to roll risky standard. And
Okay.
what you're risking is getting stabbed.
I'm gonna push myself for an extra die.
Cool.
I'll do that too because
Why not?
because I might die.
You might.
2-on-1 ganged up in the back. It could be
Against a
bad.
red sash. Yeah, we might die. It's okay.
So just one bonus die for me, right? From pushing myself. I don't think I have any bonus die elsewhere.
Savage. See, if we were playing this out round by round, I would say, well, once you made your first attack and you like did some real violence to her, then you'd get the savage bonus on the next one. But because we're just doing it as one,
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll just give myself one bonus die then.
okay,
Oh.
sounds good.
All right, and that was terrible. So
That was terrible.
Oh,
all right, but Usa did okay.
All right, so Aiz, you take 1 stress for rolling terribly, and you have a terrible gut wound.
Oh.
but you take level 2 harm of gut wound. But Usa, while you were keeping her busy running her sword into you, I think.
Well, while Zora takes a step back to really like relish, the killing blow is when Usa comes up from behind her,
Yeah,
sticks her in the ribs.
awesome. So I think that we trade gnarly but not lethal blows, and enough that because she's alone, Usa, you can help Aiz limp out with the money, and she has to just hold her guts in
with the money. Let's not forget.
Yes.
So briefly, she whips her sash out at you, Aiz, and catches your arm and yanks you towards her, and you trade blows back and forth a little bit, and she's like pulling you one way or the other, and that's how she eventually like wraps the sash around your other arm, like pulls the sash across you so that you're blinded for a second, or you can't defend for a second, and then puts her sword in you. Not that you do not give her a good fight in the meantime. You do trade a few minor blows before that, but that's the one that makes
sticks me.
That really sticks you. Yeah. And then Usa stabs her in the back, like good friends do.
Yeah.
I don't think she was expecting you. I think she didn't realize that you were going to jump down.
Where's your backup?
Yeah. Well, her backup is behind a smoke screen because you literally put it up.
Well, see, that's why I asked, because I knew that they weren't there. I was being.
Oh, you're being clever.
Let me explain it from the beginning. So
Wait, dumb it down a shade for me.
All right, you got your chain.
Yay.
Let's find out how. Fenris is saying armor or resist. Yes, Fenris, normally they could use armor or resist, but not right now because I am eliding this into basically one big fortune roll. So this is not an action roll, it's a fortune roll, and the fortune roll determined what happened. Technically, actually, you still could resist even with a fortune roll outcome of this, but so if you would Fenris
it's
is
your
right.
game, that's why.
Well, because normally you would probably be taking multiple wounds in this case, and you'd be trading. This was like to see how well it worked out. So I'm going to hold with this that this is not representing one action. This is representing the entire fight, the entire flurry that we're allowing through. So you're totally right. Dark says it's a consequence. You can resist it. Yeah. All right. No, they're right. They're calling me on it. So if you'd like to resist that, you can roll prowess to reduce that down to 1 harm, and you can use your armor if you want to reduce even further and walk out of this scot clean.
So that would be me not marking off 2 armor.
You would mark off the two boxes near armor to show that you were wearing armor.
Okay,
and
I'll do that.
And then over on the left of that, you see where it says armor and heavy. You'd mark the little armor box showing that you used the armor.
Oh, great. Yep, marked. And then I need to roll prowess to see if I take the other one.
Yeah, and then you roll your prowess and to see how much stress you take. Now, considering you're only 2 stress away, you may just want to take level 1 harm and not try to resist it. But you can roll prowess. You'll take 6 stress minus your highest die roll, and then
so I could just completely over.
You could stress out on it.
I'll just take the one. I'll avoid stressing out and take the wounds with the armor.
Sounds good. Yeah. So you take a level 1 wound of
Lightly stabbed.
yeah, grazed.
Partially stabbed.
Just a little stab.
Mostly intact.
Yep. Yeah. Awesome. Let's turn to yeah. Some call it stressing out, some call it gaining ability gets your XP. True. Let's turn our attention to the final act of whether or not Vaughn is going to get her vengeance against.
Who lives? Who dies?
Yeah.
Go
I
with
don't
Bond.
I don't think you're in a position to kill Needle
I
right
don't
now. I think you're in a position to hurt him and run.
Yeah, and not die.
Yeah, and not die. I think that things just kind of got out of hand.
So I think you should make a desperate hunt roll. Is still fine. It's a little
Yeah.
tricky to hunt a guy from being on your back in a gondola, but you're laying down on your back. You pull out the guns and unload into him.
Oh yeah, and I
Um,
mean, I'm trying to shoot to distract at this point. I don't think I have.
Okay, you're not even.
Some shoot to kill, I shoot to
I know.
distract.
Set phasers to distract.
I think I've been humbled at this point. Now
Yeah.
on my back, like trying this,
God.
like I know, like just
Yeah,
trying these shenanigans, having delusions of grandeur. And,
yeah,
And
yeah.
now I'm just gonna like make a little smoke bomb and leave, hopefully.
yeah. So what you're risking right now is a serious wound. You're risking an incapacitating level of wound of his retaliation. But let's see if you do it.
Okay, so this is hunt.
I think so. I think normally up close it's skirmish, but in your case, I think you have a moment before he gets in close to you, and
Mhm.
so hunt makes sense.
All right, and would we call my position risky or desperate?
I think it's desperate.
Yep, it's pretty desperate. Effect standard or great?
Limited.
Limited.
Yep. That's all you really need is enough to
Yeah.
distract him, and I think
Here
that's all
this
you're gonna
goes.
get. Oh.
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 No.
Oh, and that's the last we ever saw of him.
Yeah. Whatever did happen to Vaughn?
Oh, where'd that guy go? That was a cool
All
guy.
right. All right. I think we cut to so we cut to Usa and Aiz like, yeah, we got the score, and you're just a little bit cut up, and like, where's Vaughn? And then like we see the camera can't pan down to Needle being like cracking his knuckles as he steps outside of cracking his bloodied knuckles as he steps outside of the doghouse. We roll credits for the Gray Cloaks.
No.
He's just a little pummeled. He's still good. He's still
Yeah.
good.
I just want to kill Needle all the more.
I know,
it's
right?
Avenge
I
me.
know.
Oh.
Well,
We'll get you to a physiker. You'll be mostly fine. Mostly,
yeah.
partially fine.
And if should we get a chance to play Thieves Cant again? I don't know that we will, but should we'll flash back to see exactly what happened, and you can try and resist the terrible things that
that
Needle might do.
really happened to you.
Yes.
We see a flashback of like, hey Vaughn, are you gonna load those pistols today? Nah, I'm fine.
I don't know. I think we hear him going off. I can't imagine. Well, I don't know. Maybe he jumps on you first. Who knows? Awesome. I say we wrap up here, and should we get a chance to play again, the first thing that we'll do is the end of session XP and the payoff for the score. Those are things we would normally do right now, but it is late, and I'd say thank you. You do walk out with the red sashes. Zora was, heading up this little ring of today's work.
Yeah.
So you do walk out with a hefty note of a few. It's like checks. I don't know, like a few bill of order sort of things.
Mhm.
They're legal looking documents that you're gonna turn in for money.
Bearer bonds.
Yeah, that's sort of like,
Technically,
yes,
this is a win for the crew, Vond. I want you to remember that. It's a win for the crew.
yes. The
He
score
just
was
blew out.
successful, even if Bond. You did pick the meanest, brutalest, nastiest blue coat, and those snake eyes didn't help.
No, sorry.
How
Anatomy.
have we officially invoked the ire of the red sashes at this point?
Oh God, I hope so.
Yeah, I think so. I think you stabbed one of them and took her payoff. She is going to make notes about that. Yeah. So yeah, your red sash status is going to go from 0 to -1. They're
Yay.
now ready to do violence unto you. Well, maybe just harass you. Let's see. We'll see. She knows who you are. You didn't kill anybody though. Good for you. Killing is
They're not
bad.
monsters.
Wait, hang on. I'll go back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks all for staying up late with me. And thanks everybody in chat for sticking with us and keeping me honest. This was a ton of fun. And I loved the ways in which crops, glasses, and drinking water and bad weather all came into play. So
And chains
and chains and bug
We
scud.
tried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder. Is Needle's probably saying something about Bug Scott as he's walking out with his bloody knuckles?
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Well, I'll haunt him.
Yeah. Hunt's good.
John says feel better, Karen.
Oh.
Oh.
Thanks, John. All right. Good night, all. I will stay in chat for just a few moments if anybody has questions or anything like that about the game. Otherwise, we are out of here.
So long, folks.